Hello, and in this video, I'm going to talk about using hypnotherapy or RTT to treat erectile dysfunction or ED. So let me start off by saying I don't really like the term erectile dysfunction. I don't like the word dysfunction because it suggests there's something fundamentally wrong, when many times when we're struggling to perform in the bedroom, it's not actually a dysfunction. It's actually just about maybe what's going on in our life at that time. So here's the good news, is that hypnotherapy and RTT type of hypnotherapy in particular are extremely good at treating erectile problems, okay? Extremely powerful. I've worked with a lot of people in this field. A lot of people come to me because they feel more comfortable working with a guy maybe, but get very, very good results and long-lasting results as well. So it is very, very helpful for it. But when people come to me, there are several things that I need to understand for them. So when I have an initial call with somebody to work out if I can help them to understand more about what's going on, the first thing I need to understand is, what medically is happening? What are the doctors saying? Are there some physical things that are going on here? Now, hypnotherapy RTT can help with physical issues around having problems performing. However, it's more complicated. The reality is, for most people, often when we're struggling to get erections and maintain erections, it is more often than not something psychological that's going on in our lives. It may be circumstantial around stress, particular things that are happening in our work, in our lives, maybe recovering from illness. Often these things are transient, are passing, or something that's happened recently. And with many people, there are no underlying medical issues. So in this video, I'm going to focus upon how we use RTT hypnotherapy to deal with those things that basically are emotional issues that we're facing, emotional, psychological blocks that we're having about performing. And now, ultimately, when we are struggling to get an erection, to keep an erection, to perform, one of the results of that is when that happens to us as men, it challenges in lots of ways about our masculinity, about our ability to satisfy, all those kind of things. And when it happens to us, and it happens to all of us at some point in our lives, maybe it's because of too much alcohol, maybe it's because of the stress that's going on. But like all kind of anxiety related issues that I work with, is that the fear, the anxiety that you might not perform in the future actually becomes overpowering. So even though it may have been a one-off, it may not have happened before, what happens is we plant a seed in our mind which says, what happens if next time I can't do this? Is my partner going to think I don't like them, I don't fancy them? Are they going to criticize me? Am I going to feel inadequate? That starts to happen. And of course, that fear becomes bigger and bigger. So we create like a vicious cycle where we start actually dreading the idea of sex, of it happening. So we start worrying, if we think it's going to happen, we start worrying, am I going to perform? Maybe we start avoiding it. And of course, that creates a whole set of other problems in itself, not just perpetuating that fear, but also then your partner, if they see your behavior starting to change and you seem to lose interest in sex, they maybe start putting unsubstantiated questions, thoughts in their minds. Of course, all that just builds that unhelpful cycle. Quite often people will turn to taking medications. I'm trying to use brand names here. The popular ones, and of course those things are very, very effective. They do work well. However, obviously there are challenges as well about taking little pills to help us get and sustain that erection that we want, in that we can also then create that thought in our mind that we need those to perform. And we may become kind of emotionally hooked into needing that. And that creates its own set of challenges, not so much an addiction, but it's just that thought in your mind that I need that to be able to perform. So in an ideal world, we want to be able to let go of that anxiety, not need to take any medication to perform. So without going into the finite details of how we go about doing this, what I understand as is what's going on medically, and if it's psychological, if it's in the mind, if it's something temporary, something that's been passing, then there's a really, really good prospect of putting this behind you. And how do we do that? Well, it is quite simply by taking away the fear, by taking away the thought that what happens if next time it happens again? What happens if at the moment I don't rise to the occasion? What happens on all those thoughts what happen about how you feel about yourself, what your partner might be thinking, what response you might get, to actually changing those unhelpful thoughts to actually positive thoughts where you expect to perform, where you believe that you're going to perform, where you don't worry about it, where you can accept that sometimes you're not in the mood, sometimes it doesn't happen. But to take away that fear, and when you take away the fear, everything starts to work again. Everything starts to work again. And I find typically with ED that in 1 or 2 sessions, people will get from the point of really worrying and avoiding and being incredibly stressed and lowering their self-esteem to actually moving forward with confidence, looking forward to sex, believing that everything's going to be good. And on the occasion that it doesn't go as you'd expect, to actually, let it just wash over you and not worry about it, accept that that is normal. So it is incredibly effective. And as I say, it is about taking away the anxiety and replacing it with thoughts that are really about restoring your sexual confidence. And I typically see with people is people who might move from being avoidant, trying to find ways to not have sex, or to be very, very worried about it and expecting things to go wrong, to actually looking forward to it, to initiating sex again, to to really recapturing how their relationship has been in the past, or how they performed, whatever way your sex life is working. So to just really change that. And I've seen this working. I've worked with people in their mid-70s who've struggled to get an erection for years, to being able to go out there and perform with new partners. So it doesn't matter what age you are, if this is primarily or largely in the mind, then RTT hypnotherapy can work well for you. So just a distinction here. I've been talking about RTT, hypnotherapy. There is hypnotherapy and there's RTT, rapid transformational therapy. I can do both. I prefer and nearly always work with rapid transformational therapy because it is more comprehensive, because it goes beyond normal hypnotherapy. Normal hypnotherapy is giving you the thoughts, the feelings, the suggestions that you want. But in RTT, one of the things that we do is we really make sure that we've got to the root cause. So let me give you an example of that. If somebody comes to me and says, I'm struggling with erections and it started when in XYZ, doing standard hypnotherapy, I can work on that. I can work on that, and I can get you into hypnosis, and I can give you those suggestions that you want to have. However, in RTT, what we'll do is actually go, well, actually, you think that's when it started, and it may be, but the reality is there's probably something deeper and wider going on here. And maybe what happened recently in some sexual event is simply about reminding you of that in the past. So people I've worked with in the past, where they've come to me and said, oh yes, I've been struggling over the last few weeks, it was okay before that. What comes up often in our session is that when they were teenagers, they had some bad experiences where they were made to feel bad, made to feel guilty, or something bad happened. Someone got pregnant, someone got hurt, whatever it was. And actually that is the root cause. And what happened recently is actually just reminding you of the real reason why you're struggling right now with this. So that is a real difference between the two things. It is making sure we really understand why you're struggling, as well as giving you the thoughts and the feelings that you need to have. So I hope you found that video interesting. Happy to take any comments on here, or I do offer a free 30-minute discovery call to help people with ED, and it's totally confidential. We can have a call, we can have a Zoom, and I'll put the link down below on this video. So I hope you like the video. Please do like it. Please do subscribe. And I try and put out as much helpful comment as I can on this channel. Thanks for listening. Bye now.